What's up, guys? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear and or see me. If this is actually going live. All right. So you guys can hear and see me now. Let me know if John's still in here. Give me a thumbs up. What is up, Western Mass? All right, so we're good to go. You guys can see and hear me. Does it look good? Sound good? Everything's kosher. I was saying before, you guys probably couldn't have. You obviously didn't hear me, but I'm streaming from a different way. I'm not going directly through YouTube this time. I'm doing it a little different, so we have a little bit of a learning curve. All right. Going back up in the chat though, John said he's excited for. The video quality is a little low. The difference, I think, is that I switched from streaming off my iPhone, which actually has a better video quality, to using the webcam on my laptop, and the video quality isn't as good, but obviously I have way more capabilities. I can do way more stuff this way. So I think I'm going to stick with this for a little bit, and then eventually just get a better camera probably. But you were saying you're excited for Michelle Pereira. The first ever live event I went to was, I forget the number, but the main event, I believe, was Daniel Cormier against Rumble Johnson. And Michelle Pereira was, I don't know if he was making his UFC debut or I just wasn't familiar with him then, but this dude's walkout was like a full-blown acrobatic act. I mean, he was like flipping and spinning the whole fight. There's a lot of famous clips of him like doing front flips and all this shit, and it was by the halfway through the second round, he was completely gassed. And the guy he was fighting, he was like a huge favorite to win. And then the guy he was fighting ended up like coming back and almost beating him because he was just like front flipping and spinny kick and capoeira bullshit. But it seems like whoever he has coaching him or whatever, he's chilled out a lot, and now he's, like actually a exciting fighter to watch. Andrew, what is up, broski? Good to see you in the chat. No, I didn't get a better camera. I got a crappier camera, actually. I got a way better setup in general. I have a really nice laptop, a nice microphone, and all this stuff. But the camera I'm using is the webcam on the laptop, and that's not as good quality as the one that's on my iPhone. So if it's, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it either. If it's a major issue, I might end up doing something about it, or doing like my live streams, like setting it back up the old way and just doing the live stream off of my, doing like the video portion off of my iPhone. We'll see. But I got a bunch of different shit set up. Like me and Eric, the admin on the page, we've been spending hours and hours together setting all this shit up and doing stuff. Not necessarily making content, but we've been doing YouTube stuff. All right. Michelle Pereira is so fun to watch. I don't know why the UFC doesn't promote him more. Yeah, he is good. Like, he's fun to watch when he's not overdoing it. Like, for himself, I mean. He has a 5-round gas tank. He needs a 5-round gas tank in a 3-round fight just because he has so many extra movements and crazy shit that he doesn't necessarily have to do, but he's so explosive and athletic. He has a capoeira background, and it's all like, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's like a performative dance fighting thing they do in Brazil, and it's all like crazy spinning kicks. The thing with like a 360 spinning roundhouse kick is it's not exactly a high percentage maneuver, you know? It's not like a jab cross, but if you land, you know, a glancing blow with a 360 spinning roundhouse, you're probably just going to knock the guy out anyway. Yeah, I mean, share a bullet actually. That would be a good fight, you know? He's not like, at least in my opinion, his fight IQ isn't up there with like, you know, Kopolov and is it like elite level yet, but he is a fun fighter to watch. Like I'm uh Eric is in here actually. Yeah, the camera thing is something we're working on. Like I said, I can switch everything over and go with my iPhone. I knew I was going to lose camera quality when I started using the webcam on this, but I needed a laptop, so I wasn't going to get just the camera. But here we are. Eric today. He's in here actually. He should be anyway. John Smith, what is up, broski? You guys watched the fights last night? How about that BKFC? I actually stayed up and watched most of the main card or whatever was left after um, the UFC fight ended. And I don't know, like 3 of the main event fights ended in stoppage because the guys dislocated their shoulder. I don't know if it was just like a coincidence or what, but like, what the fuck? Also, um, Mike Perry, like, I don't know. I'm not saying what's his face took a dive, but it looks like he got hit with a pretty light shot on the chin and then just fell down and collected that paycheck. John said, imagine how big of a star Michelle would be if he had Sean Strickland's personality. Also, I don't think he speaks English, and if he does, I don't know if he speaks English really well, you know, enough to like have a personality like that. Like Poetan, you can tell that dude's personality, like his personality almost breaks through the language barrier. He's a huge fan favorite, even in the United States, and it's obviously because, you know, he's an absolute murderer, but you could tell his personality is like, if he spoke English fluently, you know, he would probably have a fucking YouTube channel. Yeah, the BKFC was definitely a disappointment last night. Like, I'm pretty sure that was one of their bigger events. They were calling it like Knuckle Mania or some shit, and then every fight was like stopped in the first round because the guy dislocated his shoulder. There was literally like 3 dislocated shoulders in the first round of the fights last night. I don't know if that's a factor from bare knuckle fight, like if that's a common thing. I don't see how fighting without gloves on would cause you to dislocate your shoulder, but it was just weird. And then Michael Perry was so like pumped up, like he wanted to celebrate so hard, but it was so uneventful of a fight. Everyone was just kind of like, he's like screaming and losing his mind. Like, dude, the guy went down. You barely hit him with the left hand, and he just crumpled. And everyone, I mean, it's Thiago Alves. The guy's been around forever. He's not it kind of seemed a little fishy to me. I'm like, I think this guy just didn't want to get his face cut up. He was in there with Mike Perry, who is, it's like he was built for fucking bare knuckle fighting, and you just want to collect that paycheck. And then Michael Perry called out, that English fighter that was a fucking bust. I can't think of his name right now. Last night or today? Andrew said he had 2 tall boys and a half bottle of wine last night. I was a good boy last night. I didn't do nothing. I haven't even been smoking weed, really. Usually during the fights, Saturday night. In the summer I will, because I have it set up in my garage. I have a big screen TV in my garage, and I can smoke cigars and shit out there, so I'll fire up a little Dubé, turn the fights on, and then have a stogie. But when the winter comes, I don't know. I haven't even taken a puff of weed in like a month. I haven't smoked a cigar in a few. Haven't had a cigar in a few weeks. I might have one today. And when I'm done with the live stream, I might go get a haircut and then have a cigar. I think that's going to be my Sunday night. I'm going to keep going with these Sunday live streams too. It just seems like in my life, I have time on Sunday afternoons, evenings to do live streams, so I'm just going to make it a regular thing. One thing I did want to ask is, how is the audio? Because this is also a brand new mic that I literally just took out of the package like 25 minutes ago. So, Eric's leaving. He'll be right back, guys. Eric is awesome. That guy's my fucking hero. He has helped me so much with this YouTube shit. It's unbelievable. He had a little red wine and dinner before that. What'd you have for dinner? Dave Vega, what's going on, broski? I don't know if I've ever seen you in the chat before, so if this is your first time, hello. I am TJ, and this is the MMA Jackal, where we talk all things combat sports. I don't know, are you guys into, I don't know if you follow submission grappling at all, but there's a guy named Gordon Ryan, and he is like the Michael Jordan of no-gi grappling. And he's been out for months and months, but he just put a YouTube video up like 2 days ago about his stomach issues. And he's like, I don't know, it kind of sucks because he was such a phenom. It was interesting for us people who are into no-gi grappling to see how far he can take it. I mean, he just walked through world champions like they weren't even there. And then now he has some stomach issue, and he's just not even training, not doing anything. Kind of sucks. Monastery, is that a famous pizza joint where you are? I don't know if you guys have them where you are, but here I live in Western New York, and it's a thing to where people will cook like barbecue chicken. There's like a few different companies who do this, and they have giant trucks and like whatever they need to cook these chicken dinners. And they'll do like a half chicken with like potato salad and a roll and coleslaw and all this shit. And there's chevettas. There's like 5 or 6 different companies or whatever that do that. And like in the summer, they'll put a sign up like today. They had from 1 to 6, they were making chicken dinners. And they're good. They're like $15 a dinner. It's fucking some bomb-ass chicken. And that's what we're having tonight. In fact, as soon as I'm done with this stream, I'm having some motherfucking chicken. Mr. Programmer 57, what is up, bro? I think this is your, I don't know if it's your first time in the chat or not, but if it is, hello. Thanks for coming. Dave said, I've been here a couple times. Your boy Holloway did well against Gaethje from the beginning and finish him. Oh, dude. As a Holloway fanboy, that could not have possibly gone any better than it did. Before the fight started, I was watching it with my cousin, and I'm like, dude, how about I think Holloway is just going to like piece him up the entire fight, maybe finish him late, but just it won't even be close. He's going to win like 4 rounds to 1. Then he's going to drop back down to 45, go take that strap off at Topuria, go fight Conor McGregor at wherever for some bullshit Conor McGregor fight, and then ride off into the sunset. I didn't really think that was going to happen, but hey, the first leg of the premonition has happened, and it literally couldn't have gone any better. Tonight, Andrew's having some leftover pasta. He's living up in Oakville, Ontario. How far is that from well, I live in Buffalo, so how far is Oakville from Buffalo? I know Ontario's a big-ass fucking place. So, hell yeah, we called Holloway. Dude, Holloway is just, the guy is so fucking cool. If you don't like Max Holloway, you are an asshole. It's just, the guy is so likable. He's just such a cool dude. He was on the JRE this past week, and his personality, he's just such a cool guy. You could tell he has so much reverence for Justin Gaethje for taking that fight. And that 10 seconds was going to happen no matter what. Max was going to, if he was losing, winning, it didn't matter. I think he does that too, because if he is ever in that position, he would want his opponent to be like, you know what? Especially, it's for the baddest motherfucker belt. There is no badder move than winning a fight 4 rounds to 1. There's 10 seconds left in the fight. You could easily put your hands up and backpedal, and the whole crowd would cheer, and no one would think anything of it. You don't have to take another shot for the rest of this fight. You're fine. Just right off into the sunset. But nope, he points to the center of the octagon, and they fucking throw bombs. That was the only possible chance Justin Gaethje had to actually win the fight. And he gave it to him, and then knocked him out with fucking 1 second left. Holy fuck. I wish they would have saved the next 2 fights for last week or last night's card. Because it was they were really good fights too. If you have followed this channel at all, you will know that I am not a fan of women's MMA. But that was one of the better chick fights I've ever seen, really. Other than Wei Lee versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. That fight last night might have been the fight last week might have been the second best chick fight I've ever watched, and I couldn't have cared less. And then even the Poatan fight at the end, I was just it was a long night of fights, and after that Max thing, I don't even need any more. Just save it. Holloway versus Prime McGregor, bro. Now, people are going to say they did fight before, but that was they were 2 totally different fighters. Conor wasn't in his prime. Max wasn't in his prime. That would go good. Man, that would be an exciting fight. McGregor before he got rich and really was a real MMA fighter. It's hard for me to bet against Max. Ever. All the time. I was picking Max in the 3rd Volk fight, and I think he won the 2nd one. So, I would take Max. I would say Conor McGregor would either win in the 1st round, but Max isn't going to come, he's not going to come rushing in so Conor McGregor can land some counter strike. You know what I mean? He would have to catch him. I could see either Conor McGregor knocks him out in the 1st round, or Max takes him into the deep waters and drowns him like he drowns everybody else. McGregor at BKFC, you'll never see that. I still give the fight between Chandler that's like booked and supposed to be happening in June, I still give that like a 50% chance of actually happening. I kind of feel bad for Michael Chandler because McGregor is just dicking him around nonstop. So there's no way McGregor would fight in BKFC. Those dudes they're a bunch of like, it's going to sound fucked up, but it's not like those guys are making a ton of money. You know, they're out there like getting after it, putting in their road work. They're a bunch of dogs. Conor McGregor is not getting in there with a bunch of dogs, getting his face cut up. John Smith said Conor just bought into BKFC. He you say brought, but he bought into it like he owns part of it now. Blessed man forever belt. Fuck yeah. Yeah, it was. Dave said he ducked through the overhand right. Gaethje's chin was right there. It was a perfect knockout. If you watch the fight, throughout the fight, Max was the guy throwing uppercuts, and Justin was the guy coming with overhand rights all the time. Like they would have an exchange, and Max would be throwing whatever, you know, jab straight, and then he would throw an uppercut instead of a hook. And typically, hooks beat uppercuts. Not all the time, but typically. And in this exchange, they just switched it up. Max was throwing the hook. Justin was throwing the uppercut, and hooks beat uppercuts. They just get there faster, I think. So, oh, dude, it was absolutely perfect. 1 second left. Face plant on the floor. I mean, I went crazy. My dog came out and tried to attack me because he was sleeping, and I'm like screaming. What an awesome night. Andrew's out of here. See you, broski. And then next week is 301. I mean, we kind of knew, like, with the abundance that we had in UFC 300, these next cards are going to be, like, rather weak. Name value-wise, I mean, there are still, like, some really exciting fights next week, though. I mean, I watch every card. But the main card, Michelle Pereira's kicking it off. Then we got Paul Craig against Caio Baralho. I'm actually excited to see that. Paul Craig's, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, so I love watching Paul Craig work out of the guard. Anthony Smith, I mean, I really like the guy, like, personally. You know, like, he's cool. I like he has that podcast with Michael Bisping, and he seems like a nice guy. He's like a good family dude. He beat the living shit out of a home, and some guy tried to break into his house, and he beat the fuck out of him with his bare hands. Like, you got to love Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith seems like somebody I would hang out with, you know? But I think his time has come. Like, I don't want to see him get knocked out again. Like, I don't know. And then Jose Aldo coming back. I mean, he's 37 years old, but he's had a storied career with, I mean, so many fights throughout the years. I really don't need to see Jose Aldo anymore. Like, you did your thing. You were the king of Rio. There was a time when Jose Aldo was, like, unbeatable. I couldn't imagine anyone beating him. And then, obviously, Conor McGregor did what he did. But going into that fight, not too many people were picking Conor McGregor, you know? And no one was picking Conor McGregor to knock him out in 13 seconds. That's for sure. I mean, Jose Aldo he was the motherfucker of motherfuckers. And he's an instant first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, I don't see him becoming a champ again. You know, I think he's just holding on. Like, I don't want him to hold on for another 5 or 6 fights. And then, you know, the new fans who just came in, who, like, got into UFC around this time, like UFC 300, they know Jose Aldo is, like, the guy who gets beat up by nobodies, you know? Like there's a whole fucking generation of fans that know BJ Penn is just some journeyman who gets his ass kicked all the time and a 500 fighter. You know, I don't want that to happen for Jose Aldo. Just hang it up. You did everything you had to do, even if he beats Jonathan Martinez. Like, so, you know, I don't think he's going to get the fucking belt. Just, you did what you had to do. Yeah, dude, Paul Craig's super cool. Like, I don't know, he just seems like an awesome guy. And it's cool that there's somebody with that dangerous of a guard. You know, like he's never out of it. That's the one thing that jiu-jitsu gives you. Well, having a dangerous guard in jiu-jitsu like that, you know, like Charles Oliveira or Paul Craig, you could be on the bottom, beating the living fuck out of them, and then out of nowhere they're gonna throw up a triangle or some shit, and he has wins over Ankalaev and what's his name? Who's the other top-ranking 205er that Paul Craig has a win over? It's not Poatan, is it? John Smith said he'd like to go to Scotland to visit. My cousin is actually half Scottish. I'm not, but like his dad was Scottish and we're related through his mom. His mom's my aunt. And so he's half Scottish and he goes there like every couple of years. Dude, it's fucking beautiful. The pictures he sends of like the like all like the shoreline and shit. I would love to go. Dude, I've never been anywhere. Never been fucking anywhere. I live in Buffalo. The farthest I've ever been from Buffalo is Nashville. I need to start going places. So John said, I know Cheeto already fought at 299, but Jonathan Martinez versus Cheeto would be fun. Hell yeah. Cheeto is just... I will always love watching Cheeto fight. He's like a blue-collar, hard-nosed fighter. I don't think he ever... As long as Sean O'Malley is the champ, I don't think Cheeto ever beats him. But I could see a way where Sean gets hurt or something. Cheeto has to step up and get like an interim title shot. Or Sean leaves and goes up to 45 to whatever. Fight the winner of Taporia versus Max, which I really hope they make. I would really like to see Cheeto get a win the strap. I don't know if you guys ever heard him tell his story. So obviously he's from Venezuela when there's not a lot of mixed martial arts fighters from South America, especially back then. And, you know, he's fighting in his like local circuit and doing his thing. And I don't know how he was like getting his footage to the UFC or what, but he's fighting, doing his thing, and he's not getting a call, and he's like borrowing money from his dad and all this stuff, and his dad owns a farm, and he made a deal with him. He's like, listen, if I don't get a call from the UFC by like whatever date it was, I'll fucking hang it up, I'll stop being a fighter, and I'll come work for you on the farm. Well, he was like a month away or a couple weeks away from that date, and the UFC finally called him. And even then, it wasn't like, hey, guy from Venezuela, you're in the UFC officially, and we're going to start paying you. They just called him and said, hey, we might have a fight for you if you want to fly out to, I think he flew into Vegas and started training. They're like, you know, we've been watching you. We know you're a prospect. So he said he actually gets there and he starts training with these guys. And he's been in Venezuela, so he thought he was really good. And then he's like, I'm at a gym, and there's like Cowboy Cerrone, and he said Diego Sanchez was there, and like all these actual fighters, and they're just like beating the shit out of him constantly. And well, then he finally ends up getting his shot in the UFC, and I think he won. Didn't he have a? I don't know. I don't know if it was Contender Series or what, but like he won his first fight, and then he lost his next 2 or 3, and then he had a big knockout win and like cemented his spot in the UFC. But he's one of those, like, came from the gutter kind of guys and worked his way up, and now he's a fan favorite. You can't not like it. Cheeto Vero's another person that if you don't like him, you're probably an asshole yourself. John Smith said he has some Scottish blood in him. He's a Highlander, playing outlawed tunes on outlawed pipes. UFC Casual said he hates Scotland. It's too much like England. Bro, if a Scottish person heard you say that, they would fucking... Scottish people do not like English people. Like, it's a fucking... They might be close in geographic proximity, but they do not fucking like each other. Imagine Sean beats Max or Ilya and becomes BMF for double champ. There is no fucking way Sean O'Malley is ever becoming the BMF. He is not a BMF. He's a fucking UFC. What the fuck? What the fuck kind of comment was that? First of all, I'd be all for him beating Ilya Topuria. That's fine. But Sean isn't doing shit to my boy Max. He can't hit. Sean is a extremely talented striker. He's a great UFC fighter, don't get me wrong. But we've yet to find out if he's got that fucking dog in him. Like, if he can really... Like, fuck Sean O'Malley. Beats Max. You crazy. Western Mass. English muffin as a hamburger bun. Yes or no? Fucking why not? Why fucking not? I've been on a burger kick lately. Bro. Alright, so let me say this. There was like this fucking bomb-ass burger joint in like the next town over. It was like a little hoity-toity, like high-class burgers, right? Well, they were going to like raise their rent or some shit, and they decided not to renew their lease, so they got rid of it. And I've been like on a burger kick, like trying new places. Some smash burger place opened up. I tried that. It was all right. But I tell you what, in the last like 3 or 4 months, the best fucking burger I've had was from Denny's. Denny's. I got one last week. I don't know what they call it. It's whatever. It's like their knockoff of the Red Robin burger with the egg on it. It was fucking phenomenal. Literally the best burger I've had in like probably 2 years from fucking Denny's. UFC, John Smith is saying this. I heard the women in Scotland hit on you. You don't even have to hit on them. I don't know. Maybe. One place you can go, you want to pick up chicks, is freaking Nashville. I was literally just walking down the street with my old man in Nashville, and like, there's drunk chicks everywhere trying to talk to me. And I'm not exactly a good-looking dude. I'm just a regular fucking guy. But there was like, cause they have all their bachelorette parties and shit there. There was like, the proportion of women to men in Nashville. I was surprised. I thought it was gonna be a lot of fucking like a big sausage fest where everyone's trying to, But no, there's actually a. I don't want to say like 2 to 1, but a lot of times you go to bars and there's like fucking 3 dudes for every chick there. Not like that in Nashville. Dave Vega's got to go back to work. That sucks. Well, I really appreciate you stopping in, bro. We'll be here every Sunday from here on out. Even if my camera looks like complete fucking dog shit, I'll keep working on it. But I'm going to keep these Sunday live streams going. UFC Casual said, "Do you think Tate's kickboxing record is legit or mediocre?" Tate, as in fucking that guy, the the guy with the webcam thing who got arrested and all that. I heard he was like a legit kickboxer. I don't think he's a world. He was ever like a world champion, like at a Sanya level, K1 type. But I think he was an actual professional kickboxer. Like that's how he made his money, you know. Well, that's not how he made like all his money. He did that with webcams and shit. But he there was a time in his life where he paid his bills from fighting, you know, in kickboxing matches. So he's decent. How would Diego Lopes and Max go? Right now, today, Max is just too smart for Diego. That's a fight that, who knows, another 2-3 years from now, Max is getting older and Diego's getting a little more fight IQ. But right now, Diego he's just too rough around the edges, you know? Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. I need to send a quick text message. I just had to confirm my haircut appointment. But yeah, in 2 years or so, that might be a fight to make. Oh, UFC Casual was talking about England and Scotland being too similar. He just said that the climate and the culture. Yeah, fuck England. UFC Casual, you're British? You live in England? So you are like are you your ancestors were from England and you live in the United States now or you live in England? Yeah, Nashville sounds awesome. It does. I have some good stories about Nashville. That hold on 1 second. I just wanted to see who was in the chat, but I have some good stories about Nashville that I can't tell on here. John Dong said, "I need to move to Nashville then. I've been cold approaching women, and every girl I talk to already has a boyfriend." Dude, I couldn't even imagine having to try and date chicks nowadays. Like everything's online. Everything's like it's like a hookup culture. No one like dating it now it's like the fucking menu at the Cheesecake Factory. There's so many options that these chicks who are like fives act like they're fucking nines and they know that there's 8 dudes on their fucking hookup app that are all dying to get with them. It is just it's not a good time for building long-term relationships. Anyone in here a NHL hockey fan? The playoffs are going on now, and I haven't watched a single minute of NHL playoff hockey. It's the first time in my life that I've gone like we're like a week or two into the playoffs, and I haven't watched a single minute of it. I just have no time. Oh, the other thing, I don't know if that guy who's I forget who it is, but there's somebody in the chat who's always telling me about movies and shows and shit. But I started watching fucking Shogun on Hulu. Fuck yeah, dude. That shit is fucking. It's a little slow right now, and you got to read a little bit. There's some captions in there, but it's fucking awesome. I will definitely be watching that. That's what I'll be doing tonight. I'll be chilling, eating my chicken, watching fucking Shogun. UFC Casual says, "Yeah, I live in England." You're half English and half Irish, but you claim the England side. So you don't claim the Irish side, eh? Let the Irish. I'm not Scottish or Irish or anything, but I did see Braveheart, and bro, the first time I seen Braveheart when that movie ended, I wanted to go punch some fucking English dudes in the face. I was pumped. I was ready. Fuck the English. I'm from the land of the long white cloud. Oh, Eric, yeah, I was telling you about Shogun. You watched the first episode. Yeah, it was pretty slow. I don't know. Maybe I was just hard up for a show and I was real excited to watch it, but I watched the second, third couple episodes. I'm into it. I like it. I'm not big in like I like watching like action movies with violence and shit, but if it's corny, I can't get into it. Like John Wick's pretty cool because they go to like all these lengths to try and make the violence more realistic, like the way he has to reload guns and he's doing actual judo throws. But like the amount of it and stuff, just like I don't know. I'd rather watch a show with like a good story to it than a fucking shoot 'em up, bang bang, fucking action movie. UFC Casual said, the Irish don't claim me because, where is this? They hate England, so I don't claim them. Yeah, the one crazy Irish guy in fucking Braveheart. Well, if you do check it out again, Eric, let me know because in episode 2, I think it was episode 2, they start like there's some violence going on. It's pretty awesome. They're getting down with their bow and arrows and katanas and whatnot. No, I have not seen Into the Badlands. What's it about? I tell you what, guys. The best movie book combination I've ever read / watched is Cormac McCarthy's No Country for Old Men. It was the I read the book first, and people are always like, "Oh, the book's always better than the movie." the The book was fucking awesome, super awesome, and I thought the movie was just as good. Like, I don't know which one I like more, the movie or the book, but they're both sick, dude. If you haven't seen No Country for Old Men and you like, I don't know what you would call it, like an action drama type thing, it's fucking. He has another book called The Blood Meridian, but it's so violent and long, and it would be like a 6-hour movie of people back in the 1800s just getting their head cut off. Like there's so much crazy violence, and it's so long, and they would have to take like 1/3 of the book and make a movie about it. But Cormac McCarthy's No Country for Old Men, fucking bomb, awesome. Yeah, actually, I mentioned that earlier. I actually did watch BKFC last night. I've never sat down and really like watched one of their shows. I have, I'll turn it on or whatever. Obviously, I'm a fan of all combat sports. I love watching fucking no-gi grappling, for God's sake. So, but what the fuck was the deal with everyone's arms dislocating in the first round? Like I said, was it just a coincidence? Or is there something about boxing without gloves on that will cause your arm to dislocate? I didn't think that would be a thing. Like, I could see fights getting stopped for cuts and stuff, like all right, that's going to be an issue we're going to have to deal with. But they literally had like 3 different fighters get, the fights were stopped because their arms dislocated. Like, what the fuck was that? It was, I think it was so disappointing too because um, like the fights that were like it was billed as such a big event. Like they called it Knuckle Mania, like it was going to be their WrestleMania or whatever. And I don't know. I ain't saying nothing, but Thiago Alves, bro, really? Really? That little left hook fucking knocked you down so bad you couldn't stand and you couldn't fight anymore? The first time he touched your chin? Really? I don't know. I ain't saying. I mean, it wasn't like Thiago Alves was fucking fighting the ref to get back in there. You know? Like, it was. I don't know. I ain't saying he took a dive, but I'm kind of saying he took a dive. Okay, so Eric, you are talking about Into the Badlands. It's a post apocalyptic world where firearms and modern tech is no longer the norm. Everyone knows martial arts and fights with bladed and blunt weapons. It's sort of a political series. Fuck yeah, dude. Political post apocalyptic sci fi. What is that on? John Smith. I've seen better BKFC events. I like it, but Pitbull versus Perry was a joke. Pitbull just wanted a payday. Thiago Alves just wanted a payday. That's why stop giving Mike Perry these names. Like he called out fucking I still can't think of his I always forget this guy's name. But the fucking English guy. He called him out. Like quit just match him up with these up and coming BKFC fighters who are going to go in there and put it on the line and fucking fight Mike Perry. They're matching him up with these former, like, I don't want to say stars, but guys with bigger names, and they're just trying to get a fucking payday out of it, and they don't want to really have to fight Mike Perry, because if they actually try, they're going to end up like Luke Rockhold with their teeth flying out of their fucking mouth. So, have a regular fucking division or whatever you got to do, and the number one contender fights Mike Perry. Not Thiago Alves just comes in from out of somewhere, you give him some can to beat up, and boom, he's fighting him. Like, you know, build these guys up through the fucking ranks. I also think it's going to be hard to have, like, a sustained long-term BKFC career. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fucking brutal. Whose face is going to be able to take that? Your face is just going to be one giant piece of fucking scar tissue by the end of it. However, bare knuckle MMA, I know fucking Street Jesus has his little promotion there, and I seen one event, but that intrigues me because that's got to make it so much easier to slip chokes in and shit, you know? Like, if you're wearing even those 4-ounce gloves, MMA gloves, it makes the hand fighting so, like, if you're the guy trying to do the choke, it makes it so much more fucking difficult. So, especially with blood and stuff and sweat all mixed together, being able to slide that hand underneath the chin, I'd be interested to see some more bare knuckle MMA. And there wouldn't be as much of a, you know, you're not just standing in the pocket the whole fight blasting each other in the face. You can do takedown, you can protect yourself, so I think you could have a little more of a sustained career. However, the UFC isn't going to allow any mixed martial arts promotion to gain any fucking steam. But they should, you know, they should have like a nice feeder league that they're cool with, or I don't know. That's a whole nother fucking discussion. We all know the PFL is going to fuck this whole opportunity up with their stupid like season and all this shit, and if they want to do something different, I know I made a whole fucking like 20-minute video on this, but if the PFL, Bellator, fucking whatever you want to call it, really wants to like do something different, then I think they need to like embrace the whole Um, Jesus Christ. Yes. So if PFL really wants to make a difference, they got to embrace the whole tournament thing. Like, you can't have more than one fight, more than a fight in a night. But if someone's going to watch it, they don't need to know this fighter's whole career. They just need to know, all right, these are the guys in the bracket that are going to fight this week. In a month from now or whatever, I'm going to know it's going to be all the same people. You know? That's what made the tournament style, that's what made MMA what it is today, really. Because you could start watching an event, and by the end of the night, you had guys that you were rooting for, and you've been through some shit with these guys. You know what I mean? Like, your favorite fighters become your favorite fighters for a reason, because you've seen them dig deep and pull out a win when they were getting their ass kicked or whatever. That's the guy you like because, he's a jiu-jitsu guy and you like jiu-jitsu, or he's a boxing guy. And you, throughout the course of the night, you would pick your fighter. Now he's fighting in the finale and you're like, all right, sweet, that's my guy. So I think the PFL should do that because they're lacking in name value. So instead of putting all the time, effort, and resources into making a season, I think they need to make a more comprehensive tournament and go from there. Maximize the television time these guys are getting so they can build some notoriety. I'm just saying, if it's supposed to be the most brutal sport, let the man fight until he's sleeping. I don't think Thiago Alves wanted to fight anymore. That's what I'm saying. I think he went down easy and he made it hard on himself to stand up. Western Mass wants to know Poirier versus Islam. What we thinking? I think my boy Poirier is going to jump that ghillie and choke his ass out. He probably is going to jump a fucking ghillie, though. But honestly, I love Dustin Poirier. You can't not, right? He's up there with Max and the rest. You got to love the guy. But you don't have what it takes for Islam. You never know. There is a chance that Islam has a bad weight cut. He goes in there with an injury. That's another thing. These guys in Khabib's camp, they're always fucking injured. I don't know if they're... Now, Russians typically are known for not training hard. Their training style, they train all day long at a moderate pace. They have long training sessions, but they're not fucking killing each other. But Usman just pulled out of a fight. They're always getting hurt. Obviously, everyone's always getting hurt. But I'd like to see if there was actual numbers on this. I think Khabib's camp, those guys get hurt more often than the average. So if Islam, who knows? Maybe he's dealing with something. He's not himself. But Islam at 100% is just going to be too much for my boy Poirier. Sadly, that's my pick. But crazier things have happened. I certainly didn't pick Sean Strickland to beat Izzy, that's for sure. Eric is saying it's on Netflix. Damn it, I don't have my fucking notebook here. I'm going to text my wife so I don't forget it. It's called Badlands. I'll watch it tonight. We have every streaming service ever known to fucking man. I pay for streaming services that I have never used and will never use. My wife or my kid just something they want to see is on it, so we get it, and then we just pay for it for the next 15 fucking years. Islam dog walks DP. I think he's just too fucking much. A better question is, who is the guy to take out Islam? Is there one? And maybe he's not at that level yet, but if you think there is somebody that's going to pose like dethrone Islam Makhachev, who do you think that is? Like, who at 155 right now is coming up through the ranks and you're like, this is the motherfucker that's going to do it. It's going to be someone you don't even expect, you know? 301 looks pretty. The main card is fucking nice, dude. I'm going to be watching it. I want to go live for it. I was going to go live last night, but we had technical difficulties and I wasn't fucking feeling it. And I want to go live for 301. The only issue is I'll have to make a bunch of fucking changes here. I'm going to have to actually put a TV in this room and all that shit. What was nice, if the card is just on ESPN, I could stream it and go live and watch it off my fucking tablet here. So there's a chance. There's a chance I might be live for 301. But we will see. Either way, I don't know. Jonathan Martinez versus Jose Aldo. I'm excited to see it. I think it'll be a good fight. I don't know if you were in here earlier when I was talking about this, but I've seen enough Jose Aldo. You know, the guy's 37 years old. He's had one of the most storied careers in the entire fucking game. Just hang it up. Don't be BJ Penn. You know? We don't need these new fans coming into the sport to know Jose Aldo as the guy who just held on too long and he finished his career at fucking 800 or 500. You know what I mean? Which he would have to fight for another like 7 years to do that. He's like 31-8 or some shit. So, but I don't know. I don't really see what else he has to prove. You know, even if he beats Jonathan Martinez, does anyone in here think that Jose Aldo will ever be champ again? I don't. UFC Casual said 301 will be better than it looks on paper. Dude, I never judge a book by its cover. I'm excited every fucking week to watch fights, even the shitty ass Apex cards, because you just never know. You never fucking know. I mean, it's a fight, and anything can happen. And sometimes those Apex cards are fucking off the chain because there's a bunch of up-and-coming fighters out there laying it on the line. Guys you've never heard of, or they got 3 fights in the company. So, who knows? 301 might be fucking... And it's in Rio. You know, the crowd's going to be going nuts. I mean, they're going to be going fucking nuts when Jose Aldo comes out. But Anthony Smith's another guy, like, bro, what are you fighting for at this point? Like, I could understand 2 years ago, Anthony Smith's like, you know what? If I put a couple wins together, I'm right there. I'm right fucking there. But not anymore. Unless he just enjoys being a journeyman, he enjoys training and fighting and collecting a paycheck, that's fine. But I don't need to see Anthony Smith get knocked out anymore. I've seen all the Anthony Smith knockouts that I need to see for the rest of my life. Is the Saudi card the best fight night in recent... Absolutely. Absolutely. How that is a fight night, I have no idea. But that is a fucking stacked fight night. Also, the reason I think it is a fight night is because it's going to be on some weird-ass time. It'll probably be on, like, early in the afternoon for us because they... So, obviously, we all know that this card coming up that's going to be in Manchester, I believe, is going to be on primetime television in the United States. Like, you know, the pay-per-view will start at fucking 9 o'clock or whenever, 8 o'clock, like how it normally does, and it's going to be like 3 o'clock in the morning for the main event in England. And that's because they want that pay-per-view money. In Saudi, they are paid like a site fee. So there's so many awesome fucking places to go have events in Saudi Arabia that they bid with each other for the UFC to come there. So they pay the UFC to have their event at that place. You know, that would be like Madison Square Garden paying the UFC to come have an event. It's typically not how it works. But because of that site fee, they don't have to worry about pay-per-views, and they're just putting the card on regular, you know, regular TV. And it works out better for them because now they don't have to worry about losing the pay-per-view revenue. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to worry about losing the pay-per-view revenue from it being on at a weird time. And they're getting the site fee. So I don't know how we got off on that. Oh, because he said, is it the best fight night card? It really is like a pay-per-view caliber card. It's just they're calling it a fight night because they're not charging to watch. So Western Mass said, I think Islam might fight a bit reckless because everyone hates him and he shouldn't be trading in the pocket with our boy Dusty. I mean, anything can happen in a fight. Maybe Islam is just feeling himself a little too much. Maybe he's like, we've been here, I did this, I got this. Like he did say that he doesn't even think Dustin Poirier should be a black belt. He's like, come on, brother. Who gave him a black belt, brother? And he's right. Not all black belts are created equal. But if you are a competitive mixed martial artist, and you are a black belt, you should be viewed on that level. Like, not all black belts are created equal in the sense that there's a guy who started training when he was 35 years old, and now he's 49 or 51, and he just got his black belt. Well, of course, there's going to be, there's going to be competitive blue belts out there who are going to fucking whoop that dude up. It doesn't mean that dude doesn't deserve to be a black belt. However, if you're both in the prime of your life and you fight competitively and you have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, like that's what Islam was getting at. Like, it's kind of watering down what we're calling black belts in the UFC. But Dustin has awesome fucking jiu-jitsu, don't get me wrong. And he deserves to be a black belt. I know I just made it sound like he doesn't. He does deserve to be a black belt. Islam and those guys are just a whole nother fucking level, Yes, shoot me a link for the trailer. Western Mass says Dusty's got this. Dude, could you imagine? I would go nuts. I would go nuts like Max Holloway knocking out Justin Gaethje with 1 second left at UFC 300 kind of go nuts. Other than Max Holloway, there's no one else that I'd rather see beat Islam Makhachev than Dustin Poirier. I can't think of another guy that I want them to be a champ more. I mean, Max already had it. He already was a champ. So, yeah, that would probably be it. Like, if I had a fucking MMA genie and he could grant me 3 wishes, one of them would be for Dustin Poirier to beat Islam Makhachev and become the undisputed lightweight champion. Arman is our only chance. I don't know. I would have to pull up the thing. Let's see. As my boy Faraz Zahabi would say during his YouTube streams, I'm going to test my button pushing skills, which is what I am going to do right now. And I'm going to try and pull up. Let me see here. I want to try and pull up Tapology. And I want to run down. Well, let's do this. I want to pull up the 155-pound division and look through it and see what my pick would be for the guy who's going to dethrone Islam. Oh, that's pound for pound. All right, so we got our boy Arman, Charles, Justin, Dustin, Gamrot, Dariush, Chandler, Fiziev, Holloway. Holloway's ranked. Moicano, Hooker, Jalen. All right. Telling you right now. Benoit Saint Denis is my pick for the person who dethrones Islam Makhachev. Benoit Saint Denis. He's going to do it in like 2 years or so. How is that? That's my fucking hot take for the night, guys. No chance for Jose. Western Mass, you think Jose gets murked by Jonathan Martinez? Oh, shit. Let me catch up on the chat. I'm sorry, guys. This shit's fucking... What was I, blabbing too long? I agree. I don't think Jose ever comes close to another title. Those divisions are too stacked. Marlon versus Aldo. Has Cheeto ever fought Jose? If Dusty Dust Islam, it would go down as the greatest UFC moment for me personally. That's it would be up there. It would be up there for me. I'd have to think maybe top 5, somewhere around there. It would be like if he knocks him out, and not like some fluke shit like a fucking like Islam shooting takedowns, Dustin's defending, Islam gets Dustin down, gets Dustin's back. Fucking Dusty fights out of it, gets on top, starts giving Islam some ground and pound, goes for an arm triangle. Islam escapes. They stand back up to their feet. They get an exchange. Dustin Poirier throws a straight left. So he throws a jab, a straight right, a left hook, comes off the left hook with a right roundhouse kick to the head and fucking knocks Islam out. Everyone's rooting for Dustin. The whole world will be rooting for Dustin. Maybe not in Saudi Arabia, but here they'll be rooting for Dustin. UFC Casual says his personal best moment in UFC is Leon Edwards sleeping Usman. Obviously, he's biased because he's British. But bro, Usman is the opposite of a fan favorite. Guys just didn't like his personality. He is the only UFC fighter to ever go on the Joe Rogan Experience, and I actually liked him less after the 3-hour interview. Like, I watched the whole thing. I'm like, this dude seems fake as fuck. Like, I don't know. He's not a fan favorite. And they try to, like, pull the race card and shit. Like, what's his name used to do that too? Who is the 175-pound champ that Colby... there's so many guys that remember all their fucking names. But anyway, he used to pull the fucking race card. Oh, that's why I'm not popular. It's because I'm black. Like, no, it's because you have a boring fighting style. Just face it, you know? It's fine. I understand. I enjoy grappling. I enjoy watching it, but it's boring. I get it, you know? Western Mass is leaning Jonathan Martinez. I mean, it's going to be a good fight, I think. I'm excited to watch Jose Aldo fight. I don't have to anymore. You know what I mean by that? Like, I've seen all the Jose Aldo I need to see. Hold on, guys. Give me one more second. My fucking barber is... What time is it now? All right, it's 6 o'clock my time. Yo, you guys see? You can't see it now because my camera's. I'm actually filming this with a potato, but you've probably seen it in my other streams. The Ross Bane painting I have of Max Holloway. I cannot wait for him to do one where he's fucking screen. You know, the one from the thumbnail on this. The second those go to print, I'm fucking buying one. They fought 3 years. I thought so. Who won that? Jose won that fight? Oh, Aldo won a unanimous decision. I can't remember. I don't remember anything about it. John Smith said, I think Dustin has the best boxing, not Max. Well, John Smith, you'd be wrong. But that's okay, because everybody's wrong sometimes about something. I'm just kidding. I mean, Dustin does have great boxing, and there's an argument for it. There's certainly an argument that Dustin has the best boxing in mixed martial arts. But personally, for me, it's Max. It's not even close. Max is, all right, UFC casual gives a not so casual take. That's very true. Dustin is a better in the pocket. Well, Max is pretty fucking good in the pocket, too. I mean, you don't get much more in the pocket than standing in the center of the fucking octagon. But there's a difference. I understand. However, I'll buy that. Dustin is a better boxer in the pocket than Max Holloway. And Max Holloway is absolutely better at range. But not only is he better at range, he is the best at fighting at the end of his punches. Like, that is a skill that if Pacu was in here, he would attest to it. I think we're still a little too early in the morning for Pacu. But being able to fight at the end of your punches like that that's why all the time we see in the UFC guys not use their reach. It's not because they don't want to. It's because it's not easy. And Max does it better than anyone. Absolutely better than anyone. Western Mass says, I feel like Dusty is a better hunter with his hands than Max has better movement and counters. Am I making this up? Dusty is a better hunter with his hands. Well, for one, I think Dustin has more power than Max Holloway. That's a fact. And the thing about Max Holloway that probably doesn't get talked about enough is his footwork is impeccable. Like, his footwork mixed with his ability to fight at the end of his punches. When I say fight at the end of his punches, I mean being just close enough to getting maximum power on his shots, even though he's throwing them at 40%. But you can be at the end of your punches and still touching a guy, but just too far away where they're not having the effect you need them to have. Then what happens is guys overcompensate. And they're like, this sucks. I'm fighting at the end of my strikes, but they're not hurting the guy. So then they move too far in. Now they're not fighting at the end of their punches anymore, but when they do hit the guy, it lands and is more significant for them. So then they're like, you know what, fuck that. I'm not even going to. I'm just going to be all the way in or all the way out. You know, that's what a lot of guys will do. But Max just stays at that constant. He's never all the way out, but he's never in. Like, he's always at that, like, just right there. Bam. And then the combinations, he'll put together a 7-piece, you know? One thing that Dustin is awesome with that maybe this is what you mean is, like, he can start to put it out. Like, if he hurts you, he starts to come after you, and he's, like, all about that. Max will hurt you, and he's like, I'm not even going to risk it. I know this guy is hurt, and I could come in there, but I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm just going to hurt him again and again and again. Whereas Dustin, if he hurts you, he's coming after your ass. Like, you're probably not going to survive. That's why I'd like to see O'Malley versus Max. Oh, dude, I would fucking sign me up. But dude, if Max Holloway lost to Sean O'Malley, I would fucking throw up in my living room. I would. Oh, I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about such things. All right, boys and girls, what time is it? Sorry if the stream here is just kind of clunky with me. I'm using. I got some new tools here. So, all right. I'm gonna give it another 5 minutes. What? Oh, okay. Love you. Bye. All right. I'll give it to 6 o'clock. How long have we been going for? Where can I see that, Eric? I'm not used to this interface. I just want to see how long I've been streaming for. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go until 6 o'clock. So we got 5 more minutes. Western Mass says Dustin's step through combinations is what I'm talking about. Yeah, dude. He's an amazing boxer. I'm not taking anything away from him. We're comparing two of the greatest mixed martial arts fighters to ever box. You know? It's kind of like, you know, what's better, the best apple you've ever had or the best orange? Like it's not apples and oranges. We're comparing the same thing, but they're two different styles. They're both great at the things they do. I would say Max excels at fighting at the end of his punches, which sounds simple and is one of the most difficult things to do in mixed martial arts. And his pace is relentless. You know, his cardio, he just constantly puts it on you. Just never stops. He's always his combinations and Dustin's ability to put you away. That's where, like, that's the separation. Max doesn't have that. Max doesn't have that ability to, like. I mean, he might, but he doesn't practice it. You know. I've actually started taking some boxing lessons. I'm 3 lessons in. I love it. It's awesome. Boxing is fucking sweet. Doing any of these, like, as a fan of the sport, doing any of these, Hap was here and then left and didn't even say hi. Wow. What a little bitch. But, like, participating in whatever it is, you go to your fucking jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, whatever, it gives you, like, a whole nother, like, understanding of how amazing the shit we're watching is. Like, if you've never taken a boxing lesson before, just try to throw a jab straight hook and put a little footwork into it. Like, just try to throw a jab straight while moving forward correctly. It's like you've never moved your hands or feet before. And then to watch these guys do what they do it's absolutely amazing. 76 minutos. Every country should have a national combat sport taught to all kids. I agree. I mean, here in the United States, if you have a boy, get that kid into wrestling. It's one of the hardest things you can do. I mean, I don't know too many people who were, like, hardcore into high school wrestling that like, really fucked their life up. Like, if you were, like, serious about it, you know, I say that just to say, like, it's a martial art 100%. It's not billed as a martial art in the United States. at least growing up, I never thought of high school wrestling as martial arts, but it absolutely is. American kids doing freestyle wrestling is no different than Japanese kids doing judo. That's the other thing too. Like, we're such good wrestlers here in America, but you don't understand the level of judo in Japan. Like the judokas who don't even make it onto the team. There are guys, you know, just like here in America, there's some kid who started all 4 years at Iowa. As he was like their starting 176er or whatever. They're starting 180-pound wrestler, and he wrestled all 4 years at Iowa. That dude is an elite, world-class combat sports athlete, and he's just gonna go get a job at fucking Geico. You know, that's how it is in Japan. They got these judokas that can fucking throw Olympic hopefuls in randori, and they just work at a fucking bank. It's martial arts are so great for kids. And if your kid's little, you know, doing the karate, taekwondo shit, that's cool. But I think what UFC Casual is talking about, and what I am talking about, is in the formative years. Like, have martial arts be something like cool for teenagers to do. You know, at least here in the United States, once you're like 12 and over, no one's really sticking with karate and taekwondo and shit. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to get into martial arts and you're like serious about it and you're a teenager in the United States, you're probably going to be a wrestler. Now, you know, I'd say maybe the last 5 years up to now, like, MMA has become a thing. I've had like a few friends at work that are asking me like, "Oh, I want to get my son into MMA." You know, that's mostly because they think that I do MMA because I do jiu-jitsu. Like, they don't know the difference. You know what I mean? But I agree. Every kid should have a little bit of martial arts training, especially boys. UFC Casual said, every boy does rugby at school in England. I guess that's good enough. It's different, though. It's different. I mean, rugby's tough. It's just like American football. It's tough. But there's something different about competing in a combat sport. You train as a team, but you're out on the mat by yourself. Like, it's different. At my high school, we had a huge dude who came from Australia. Fucking bastard. He chose to play field hockey with the girls. Yeah, dudes, apparently, I learned this for the first time myself. I think it was during the last fucking Olympics, Summer Games, that dudes play field hockey. I'm like, what the fuck? Dudes play field hockey. It'd be cool to play field hockey as a high schooler just because you get to walk around the school with that fucking club. Yeah, now every school would allow it. I graduated high school in 2005, and I think if a dude wanted to play on the girls' field hockey team, they would be like, nah. I mean, girls wrestle. In fact, my buddy Dustin in high school lost to a girl like 3 times. She beat him. He actually made varsity in 8th grade. I went to a senior high school, and he made the varsity team as an 8th grader. And however they did it, they allowed him to wrestle as an 8th grader on varsity, if I'm remembering this correctly. Anyway, he wrestled this chick 3 different times throughout his high school career, and I'm pretty sure she beat him all 3 different times. Also, the same kid that lost to that girl went to a wrestling camp thing during the summer and shit his pants during a match. That's the thing that like scares me. Worst case scenario, like I'll do a like a local jiu-jitsu tournament or whatever. Like, I'll travel a little bit. I'll do like a low level jiu-jitsu tournament. My biggest fear in the world is that I get strangled unconscious and shit myself. That's my biggest fear in the world. It happens. Like, it's not super common, but it ain't really uncommon either. Yeah, could you imagine the high school fights if we had like legit fucking? Well, you can have boxers and shit. I remember there was a kid who boxed when I was in high school, but those kids don't fight. Like he would have been like the last person to fight, you know. And as wrestler, I even wrestling in high school, I didn't think of it as like a martial art. As I knew it was a part of fighting because fucking all the wrestlers in the UFC were like my favorite guys, you know. But it's not looked at as like a martial art. Same vintage, huh? '05? It was a good year, bro. Good fucking year. All right, boys. We're 5 minutes over. Oh, shit. We got a comment about the ADCC. There was some ADCC match recently when one of the competitors threw up. I feel bad for the guy. Combs or something. I'll have to check that out. It was recently? Was it at the last ADCC? Or was it like one of the trials that are going on now? Oh, you know what? I might have seen a clip of that. I'm trying to think. I know I just seen like some YouTube video where some grappler threw up. Was that a ADCC match? But I'm pretty sure there was a UFC fight. I'm pretty sure it was UFC where the dude shit his pants. It might have been like Strikeforce or something. But he didn't even get knocked unconscious or anything. Like they were just fighting and shit came out. I know for whatever reason we were talking about this last week, and I actually have two pretty hardcore stories about shitting my pants that we're going to have to save for another day. Yeah, they're both, well, one is like kind of normal, but like a normal shitting your pants incident, but the other one is pretty hardcore story. We'll have to save it for next time. But until then, I appreciate every one of you guys. I know there's like 4 or 5 in here, but you always come in. You keep the chat moving. You make my day. I appreciate the support, really, all you guys. So